Well, I mean, there certainly are other people who are writing and thinking about it. And a lot of the work prior to it followed a different kind of pathway to introducing media ecology. That includes my first book, Echoes and Reflections, which was sort of based on the different thinkers. So it's like, here's a chapter on Marshall McLuhan, here's a chapter on Neil Postman, here's a chapter on Walter Ong, and so on through the big thinkers, and which is a perfectly valid way to go about it. And as I said, saying to you before, it's like, there is sort of, we can talk about the media ecology of Marshall McLuhan, which has certain kind of emphases and certain things that are not really dealt with that clearly or that well or ignored, as compared to, say, the media ecology of Harold Innis, which comes from a different background, with different points of emphasis and so on. So that actually is the long tradition going back to at least the 60s of people who tried to coalesce, whether they called it media ecology or not. But, and I'm thinking of William Kuhn's and the Post-Industrial Prophets from, I think it was around 73, that tried to do this and just went through, different thinkers and what their approach was. That's fine. For what I wanted to do with my media ecology book, though, was to provide a synthesis. And there are others who created their own synthesis in different ways. So, I would include Walter Ong's Orality and Literacy as a kind of synthesis, but it was limited to the orality literacy approach, or field. Neil Postman's Amusing Ourselves to Death creates a kind of synthesis as well, but it's very much directed towards a specific concern that he had with the culture. Before that, McLuhan's Understanding Media represented a synthesis, and very much a pioneering work, but it had, again, it was limited by its time and what it was trying to work with. Joshua Meyerowitz is another one. No Sense of Place lays out a wonderful synthesis that's very much constrained by a social science kind of approach, and that deals with specific integration of traditional media theorists like McLuhan and Innis with a symbolic interaction theorists, Goffman and George Herbert Mead and so forth, which from my point of view is part of media ecology rather than two distinct areas. So I tried to provide the broadest possible integration and synthesis so that we can say, okay, here is an entree into the field in its entirety. And from here then, and at best, when we think about it with humility in terms of history, you could say, here I'm offering a step up. Please, put your feet here and take the next step up. So hopefully that will occur at some point. I don't know of anything that's quite gone that far at this point, but. In terms of publishing and print media, it's really only a short time. It's been, I guess it's 7 years now since that book. But, things take time to circulate and percolate. And, as I said, it took me 15 years or more. I guess maybe about 22 years. I can't do the math offhand, but about a couple of decades to get around to it. So maybe by the mid-century we'll see something move things along.
Yeah.